Today, I'm taking a look at 5 engine building games that are great to play solo. Hey, it's Jared from Specifically Solo. And so, what is an engine builder? If you're unaware, it is a game where you are getting stronger throughout the course of the game and you're building an engine to get you more stuff, maybe more points, maybe more gold throughout the course of the game. Whatever the end game objective is, you are using that engine to get closer to that and to get stronger as the game goes on. And so, normally in an engine building game, you'll start out, you won't be able to do very much. Maybe you'll only be able to draw one card or get one resource on your turn. But then maybe by the end of the game, you're able to get 10 resources on your turn or take 7 cards or something like that. So we're going to look at some great engine builders today. I've played all of these solo. They all work really well solo. So let's go ahead and jump in. So number 5 on this list is a game that I play on Board Game Arena a lot. I actually don't own it physically, but it's a really fantastic engine builder, and I love playing it on there. And it's A Wonderful World coming in at number 5. So in It's A Wonderful World, what you are doing every round is you are drafting these cards, and you're going to decide which cards you're going to keep and which cards you're going to trade in for resources. And then as you complete those cards, every round when you run the production phase, you will get the resources from those cards that you have, basically earned at that point in the game. So there's a couple of things that make this really interesting. One is the way that the production phase works. So you're going to get certain colors of cubes in a certain order. So what you're really trying to do is figure out the best way to maximize the amount of cubes that you can get. So it's a little bit of an efficiency puzzle too, but I really enjoy this one solo, and the card selection is always a really thinky part of the game, trying to figure out which cards am I going to keep, which cards am I going to trade in for resources. Also looking at your corporation that you have and seeing what their goal is as well, what you're going to score bonus points for at the end of the game is always something to keep in consideration as well. So I really enjoy It's a Wonderful World. The solo mode works really great as well. It is very easy to run and not too many changes from the regular game. It's also very fast game as well. You can play this in about 20 minutes if you're playing solo, and so it's very easy to just go again. One reason I like to play it on Board Game Arena is because I don't have to shuffle all the cards up or get all the cards ready. In fact, I find myself playing a lot of engine building games on Board Game Arena just for that very fact that the setup is reduced by so much when you play it online versus on the table. Now, I know you may like to really play these on the table and you may want to get away from the digital space while you are playing games, and that's completely understandable, but for me, this one really works well on Board Game Arena. Now, I have not played It's a Wonderful Kingdom yet, which is a 1 to 2 player version of this game. It's also on Board Game Arena, but I haven't checked that out yet. And I know there's some expansions as well and some solo challenges that you can throw in to It's a Wonderful World. But it's a really great engine builder. Again, really quick turns, but still some really thinky things that you have to try and decide upon while you're playing the game. So that one's coming in at number 5 for me. Number 4 is, I guess, a re-implementation of a very, very popular game that came out a few years ago, and that is Wyrmspan from Stonemaier Games. Now, you've probably heard of Wingspan, which this game is based on. Wingspan, you are collecting birds, and you're running your engine with birds. Wyrmspan, you're doing it with dragons. And the one reason that I put Wyrmspan on this list is I feel like it improves on Wingspan in a couple of different ways. It's just more interesting to play, things that are going on while you're playing the game. Also, at the end of Wingspan, there was a strategy basically where you're just trying to collect as many eggs as possible because that was the best way to get the most points. In Wyrmspan, it's a little bit different. So I really like some of the changes that they've made to this, and it's still a really great engine building game as you are getting stronger throughout the course of the game. You're starting with no dragons basically in your tableau on your player board. Then by the end of the game, you've got a bunch, and when you fire off the caves that those dragons are in, you're getting either resources or, maybe more dragons into your hand or coins, whatever the case may be there. So I really enjoy Wyrmspan. You've also got to excavate your caves in this game, which is a little bit different from Wingspan. So you actually have to open those spaces up before you can put the dragons into those spaces. I really like the production of this game as well. And like I said, I just feel like it improves on Wingspan a little bit. Wingspan's a great game too. And if you want to play an engine builder, that's a fantastic engine builder. But I really enjoy Wyrmspan the couple of times that I've played it. And so that's coming in at number 4 on the list. Number 3 is one of the first games that I got when I got into board gaming. It feels like a board game staple at this point, but that does not mean that it is a bad game at all, and that is Everdell from Starling Games. So in Everdell, you are playing as little woodland creatures, and you're taking a couple of different actions on your turn. You are using worker placement to build your tableau up, and so you will be spending resources to place cards out in front of you. Those cards are going to either give you more resources at different points during the game, they might score you in-game points, and the really cool thing about Everdell and the tableau that you are building throughout the course of the game is that certain cards can trigger off of other ones. So maybe you have a certain animal and that allows you to play a certain location for free, or vice versa. You are able to maybe put a location down and then play that animal for free. So there's lots of interaction there between the cards, and you're trying to figure out the best way to organize those in your tableau. Also, you can only have a specific number of cards as your maximum in your tableau, and you're probably going to achieve that at some point throughout the game. So it's really trying to think about which cards do I want to place out? Which ones are going to give me the most benefits? And you're thinking a couple of different things while you're playing this game. You're thinking early in the game, which cards can I play to get more resources to possibly get more cards? Whereas at the end of the game, your strategy shifts a little bit, and now you're thinking about which cards are going to score me the most points at the end of the game. There's also goals that you are trying to achieve as well. You've got personal goals. There's also shared goals as well, which obviously in the solo mode, you're just trying to achieve those ones. I would say if you're interested in Everdell, once you've played it a couple of times, if you really enjoy it, I would pick up the Mistwood expansion for Everdell. This is basically the solo expansion for Everdell, and it takes what's pretty a basic solo mode in the base game and really ramps it up and gives it a lot more variety. It's a lot more unpredictable. So I would say if you enjoy Everdell, get that expansion, because that just really increases the ability to play this solo in terms of how much replayability you might get out of the game. So Everdell in on my list at number 3. Number 2 for engine building games is definitely the heaviest game on this list by far. It is from Capstone Games, and it is Ark Nova. So in Ark Nova, you are trying to build a zoo. That's what you're doing. And I've seen a few comments saying that this is not an engine builder, but I really think that it is, because throughout the course of the game, you are getting some cards and you're getting some upgrades that are going to make certain cards cheaper, make it easier to place animals into your zoo. So I think by definition of that it is an engine builder, at least in some respects. And it's kind of a big part of the game in terms of trying to figure out the best way to play your cards so that you can take advantage of some of those card opportunities. So in Ark Nova, again, you are designing a zoo and you're collecting animals. You're getting maybe scientists throughout the course of the game, conservation projects as well, and some unique buildings that you're going to put into your zoo. So every time you play this, your zoo is going to look different. It also comes with different maps as well. So it's a lot of challenges that are available in Ark Nova. Now, I have not played the expansion for Ark Nova. I've heard that's very good as well. They've come out with a few other map packs too that you can add in to create some more variety. And the really cool thing too about Ark Nova, in addition to being an engine builder, is the action selection mechanism as well. So what you are doing is you've got 5 actions that you can choose from throughout the course of the game. You can get new zoo cards, you can build new enclosures, you can put an animal into your zoo, you can do some association tasks, and you can also play sponsor cards. And so how it works in Ark Nova is once you play one of those actions, it slides to the front of your action selection area. So if you did something and it was a strength of 4, once you do it, you slide it down to 1. And now you're probably not going to take that action for a while. So you're also trying to determine when is the best time to take these actions throughout the course of the game. You know, I really want to take this when it's stronger because it will get me more stuff, but I might need to do it right now. So I love that decision in Ark Nova. This is another one that I like to play on Board Game Arena just due to the insane amount of space that Ark Nova takes up on a table. I mean, it will take up basically an entire full, folding table if you do play this physically. On BGA, it's really nice because all of that is set up for you. You can manage it, and I find myself playing this one on BGA quite a lot. It's also the official solo mode for this game I enjoy. I like it. It's a set number of turns. It's 27 turns that you have to try and get the best score possible, and you're just trying to get a positive score. So basically what happens is you're going to subtract 100 from your score at the end of the game, and whatever that is, that's your final score. And if you can get into positive territory, if you can get more than 100 points, which will actually probably be like 4 or 5 points at the end of the game, then you have won Ark Nova. There is also an unofficial solo mode that is available on Board Game Geek that a lot of people enjoy. I have not played it yet. It is the Arno solo mode for Ark Nova, and you cannot play that one on Board Game Arena. You do have to have a physical copy of the game to be able to play that solo mode, but that's a very highly revered solo mode. People really enjoy that one too. Makes the game a little bit longer from what I hear, but the solo mode plays more like an actual opponent in the game. So if you're interested in Ark Nova, if it's one that you want to check out, you might check out that solo mode too on Board Game Geek, because again, like I said, it's one of the more popular solo modes on there. I have not played it personally, but I do like the solo mode that comes with the game in Ark Nova, but I think they just offer some different experiences. One is more of a how quickly can I get this done type of thing, and the other is more of, I don't know if it's more of a relaxed game, but it gives you some more time to achieve some of those things and actually build your zoo up a little bit more. So Ark Nova is at number 2 on the list. And number 1, my favorite engine building game at this moment in time is Earth from Inside Up Games. I love Earth so much. So Earth is a tableau builder and also an engine building game. And Earth has so many cards in it. And what you're trying to do is basically create the best ecosystem that you can. So you're going to have a variety of different cards that you are placing into your tableau throughout the course of the game. The really cool thing about Earth is that each card is going to give you something depending on when you decide to do that particular action. So you might have cards that get you more cards. You might have cards that allow you to compost and score points that way. You might have cards that allow you to place cubes on your cards that you already have in your tableau, or build trees, or a variety of different things. So every time you run that engine in Earth, which is just about every single turn because you're always picking an action to do, it feels really good and it's really satisfying. And because again, you're always getting something. I really enjoy that aspect of the game. Also, there are so many different cards in this game, so you are not going to see all of them throughout the course of the game. And the solo mode is pretty easy to run as well. This is another one that I like to play on Board Game Arena. Again, just due to this setup, it is a lot of setup on the table. It looks really nice on the table, but it is a lot of cards flying around in Earth, just like it is in Ark Nova. So this is one that I find myself playing online more often than not. It's also great for that because that manages the solo mode, keeps track of its scoring, what it needs to do, and it's collecting things throughout the course of the game as well. But I think for my money, this is the best engine building game out there right now because it is quick turns. It feels really good every single time you run that engine. You're always getting something that is great, and you're trying to figure out the best way to maximize that engine so you can get the most stuff possible and get the most points at the end of the game. So that is a really fun one to check out. If you have not been able to check out Earth yet, I would highly suggest it. It is a very fun solo game and a fantastic engine building game. I fell in love with it the first time I played it. I played it at Gen Con a couple of years ago, and from the first time that I played that one game of Earth, I was like, I gotta get this game. This game is just everything that I love in board games. So Earth is coming in at number 1. So just to recap the top 5 real quick, at number 5 we had It's a Wonderful World. Number 4 on this list of the top 5 engine building games was Wormspan, again the reimplementation of Wingspan. Number 3 is Everdell. Number 2 is Ark Nova, and number 1 is Earth. So let me know in the comments what your favorite engine building game is. If you've played any of these, if you enjoy any of these, if you have a different suggestion for a great engine building game, I would love to know that as well. It's one of my favorite types of board games just because, again, you are building up as the game goes on, and that's a really cool feeling. And at the end of the game, you look at your tableau or what you've built and you say, wow, this is really cool. I love what I've accomplished throughout the course of this game. So if you enjoyed this video, thanks so much, and be sure to like and subscribe. That really helps the channel out. I've got some other top 5 lists as well if you want to check those out on the channel. Until next time, I'm Jared. You've been checking out Specifically Solo.